Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today the topic is not as heavy and I am excited to say we of course don't have any long intros, but today we're talking about self-improvement. I think especially for women, self-improvement is a topic that is not as discussed in the motivational progressive formality. I think that we have to do a better job of understanding where it is that we are repeating these bad habits, bad cycles. Coming out of those things to be able to improve and to elevate is essential. So these are a couple tips that I have taken on to help me become a woman that I'm not only proud of, but where 5 years ago I would have never been able to imagine all of the strides I've made towards my ideal image. So starting off, self-awareness has been something that I don't think is talked about enough. Self-awareness in the aspect of us wanting to be better and us wanting to portray an image to society that we are proud of, but we don't really understand who we are, what we're doing wrong, and who it is we want to be. And I think that we need to really sit down and ask ourselves as women, what is it that we want to leave behind? Because I think that that's a male formatted thing. Men are often asked, what is it that you want to leave behind in this world? What's your legendary story? What's the legacy that you'll leave behind? And it doesn't mean that you have to have this generational plan, but it does mean that you're not here without purpose. You're purposeful and you have a contribution to the world that no other human being has, and it's essential and necessary. I think that self-awareness is something that is talked about very leisurely. To say I know myself is to say I understand what it is I do every day. I understand who it is that I can become in times of anger, in times of happiness, in times of fluctuating moods and emotions. Yes, I think majority of people do understand that. But have you ever sat down with yourself to ask yourself, who is it that I want to be, and what are the characteristics that I have now that are contradictory to that? What are the characteristics that make me ashamed of who I currently am? For example, I used to drink excessively. I used to drink because in college, it became a habit to drink when you are wanting to have fun. And then entering adulthood, it became a drink is something that you do socially and also something you do when you're stressed, something that you do when you're happy, something that you do when you're sad, something that you do all the time. And eventually it got to the point where I was always dependent on something that was not serving me. So having a drink became a lot less fun and a lot more detrimental to my ideal image, who it is I wanted to be and what it is I wanted to represent, especially for my children. And that came with sacrifice of I no longer drink. I am now 1.5 years sober. I'm very proud of myself, but that didn't come without self-awareness. So number one, self-awareness. Who is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do? And what are the things that you're currently doing that are stopping you from progressing towards those goals? Next, we have discomfort in growth. So growth is, of course, not comfortable, but it's not easy and it's not fun and it's not ordinary. If it was ordinary, everybody would be very mature. Everybody would have a very high self-esteem and a clear understanding of the world, because sometimes we believe that with age comes wisdom, and that's just not true. It's not true that the older you are, the more experience you have in life, the more you retain that information to make it building blocks on how you can be better, on how you can expand your horizons, on how you can obtain knowledge about multiple subjects and be in different rooms and have conversations with people from any background. That's growth. To be a well-rounded person means that you not only understand yourself and your demographic, but you've taken the time to understand others, because relationships are very important in this life. In our current climate, I don't think that we understand how important, but if we did, then we would make self-development and growth something that is a priority. If I don't put my mask on first, then who can I help? Who can I be a stepping stone for if I've never taken the time to try to build myself up? We make excuses. We make excuses for why we can't do the things that we deem to be important to us. We continue to cycle over and over again the same lessons and the same mistakes, and we say, oh, it's because as a child, or it's because I made this mistake, or it's because life is hard, or God doesn't like me. There's so many different avenues that we can go to comfort ourselves into why we can't be better and why we can't strive for not only goodness, but greatness, but extraordinary heights. What's stopping you from being extraordinary? What's stopping you from tackling pinnacles that no one around you has ever even imagined to attempt? What's stopping you, especially as a woman, from being a model for other women? From being someone that not only people like, not only that people can talk to and come to, but that someone wants to be. As a woman, do you have a role model or an example that you find you can look up to, that you could look towards for advice, or something that you find in a woman that maybe you want to cultivate within yourself? If the answer is no, don't feel bad, because I don't believe that there are enough female examples of what it means to be a well-rounded, mature, responsible female, responsible adult. The way we talk to ourselves sometimes is so scary, especially as women. Sometimes we look at ourselves and tell ourselves every reason why we're not enough, why we can't, why we won't, why our mistakes are so shameful, so dark, why our trauma stems so deep that we can't push past it and progress forward. But I'm here to tell you, from a person who's experienced trauma, who's experienced sadness, who's experienced deep depression, that today that's not my story, because that's not who I am anymore. And that's not who you have to be. You don't have to be sad. You don't have to be miserable, and you don't have to count yourself out. You don't have to tell yourself that this is where you have to remain, because guess what? Life is evolutionary and it goes on. And on it shall go. And trust me, God can make every one of the obstacles that you've come across, every lesson that you feel that you failed, every mistake that you feel that you've made, work for you. And not only for you, but to excel you into greatness. So the question is, if that's the type of God we serve, why not you? Why do you think that you have to remain at the bottom? Why don't you make the transition to go against what everybody else is doing and start your own thing? Start what you believe in. Start something that makes you happy and makes you feel fulfilled. Have you ever asked yourself what makes you happy? What makes you feel fulfilled? These are real questions, ladies. Real questions that not only are cute and glamorous, like saying affirmations in the mirror or getting yourself ready with a glam day or a spa day. Those are nice, but that's not the internal work. The way you portray yourself in this world matters. To say you don't care what people think about you, it shouldn't be that way, because the way you're treated in the world affects not only your mental health, it affects your income, It affects your social life. It affects your intimate relationships. And all of those things matter. You have to take your life by the horns and say, I'm not going to settle for being mediocre or piss poor anymore. And when you make that decision, you find yourself in new light. You find yourself unveiling a person that you never could imagine existed. And she does exist. She's in there and she's waiting for you to say, I want to meet you. I want to become you. Progression is not easy. Progression is not something that comes overnight. Progression isn't something that will send a tickle down your spine. It's really not. Progression's hard, but inch by inch, anything is a cinch. Every day, the decisions you make every day are the things that create legacy, that create generational notoriety. Your name speaks volumes because of the decisions, the daily decisions you make every single day. The things that nobody knows about, but they make you proud. And that's ultimately how you become a happier person, how you see joy in life, how you become excited when the sun comes up, because you have something that's close and near and dear to your heart, something that makes you feel fulfilled. And that's what this life is about. You have to watch what you consume on that reality TV, and things that are entertaining are things of poverty. They do not help you advance. They do not help you be better. They help you stay right on that couch laughing as another person is progressing light years ahead of you. Conquer the opportunities because time is precious, and so are you. Remember that longevity in whatever you're doing comes from your character. It comes from your integrity. So the quick decisions that you think you want to make to get $1, to get attention, clout, whatever it is that you find to be worth it, trust me, it's not. It's not worth it. You being proud of who you are 10 years from now, you having peace with what you are doing and what you're investing your time in is what's worth it. This life is about so much more than money, so much more than clout, so much more than the opinions of others. And although your image matters, what you feel about yourself matters the most. And I hope you really understand that your self-image, what you look at in the mirror every day and what you tell yourself resonates so deep in your subconscious. I'm here to tell you that you are so important. You have so much to offer this world. If you only dig deep and tell yourself that you want to find what it is that you have to offer. And with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm excited to introduce my channel with my husband to you very soon. But until then, you have just me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.